Oh, Magdi.
Hello, Charles.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could speak to the mind. Um, my understanding of what the mind is it in the dream analogy, is it the mind of God that's creating all
Mm,
this access to it and our limited ability? Or is it something more like a tool or something? I mean,
yeah.
we always want to calm it. So I wonder if you could just speak to the nature of the mind and where it lives
Yes.
in reality.
Yes. The question is that interests me and may be relevant to you is what is our experience of the mind? Because, of course, it's possible that if we talk conceptually about the mind, we may find there are many definitions, maybe 10, 20, who knows that now how many definitions we may find of the mind. But experientially, that's how I like to approach this question. Uh, so, in my experience, I, I experience thoughts, perceptions, and sensations, sensory perceptions, mentations, perceive bodily sensations, and I perceive the world. My experience is phenomenal via perceptions, sensations, and mentations. And of course, there is the experience of awareness, meaning there is that which perceives the invisible aspect, the knowing aspect of is in my experience. I perceive the tree and I know that I perceive. I know that I'm perceiving the tree and I know that I perceive and I know that I am. So there is that the noumenal aspect in my experience. And I don't find anything else outside of that. But of course, I'm open. I'm just sharing. I'm not saying that there isn't more. If there is, I'm open to other people's experience. So in my experience, what I refer to as mind, because I don't experience something called a mind. It's not like in my experience, I can say, oh, hey, I just experienced my mind. I can say I just experienced a thought, or I just heard a bird singing, or oh man, I'm hungry. That I can say. Okay, I can say, but I cannot say to you, oh, you know what, Charles, I just experienced my mind. You know, experientially, I cannot say that because I don't. There is no mind that I see. I don't like open my eyes suddenly I see a mind walking around, or I'm suddenly I have a vision of a mind. I don't have such things. But I do use the word mind. I use it every day, and I use it, of course, in these meetings. But I use it. I define mind as thoughts, uh, perceptions, and sensations. In other words, I define mind as the set of phenomenal experiences. That's how I define the mind. When I use the term mind, I'm referring to the phenomenal aspect of my experience, but I'm not referring to the noumenal aspect of my experience. The noumenal aspect of my experience, I refer to as consciousness or awareness or reality or presence or knowingness. So I know that in Buddhism, they use the term mind, they use the term small mind and big mind, the mind of God and the small mind. I don't use this lingo, but my interpretation of the Buddhist use of the term mind with lowercase mind and mind with capital M is that they're referring to mind with a lowercase to be the uh, two possibilities to be my personal mind. Like right now, I'm perceiving this wall here in this room, maybe the wall is yellow and the desk is brown. That would be the small mind, Magdi's small mind. And then Charles' small mind would be that he's perceiving the walls are white and the desk is a different color desk, a black desk. So that would be the small mind, that my small mind and your small mind are different. But I don't use the term that way. I use the term perception. That which I perceive right now is different from that which you perceive right now, which would be the mind. But coming back to how I would interpret the Buddhist term of capital case mind. The capital case mind could refer to two ways of understanding it. One way is that although my small mind and your small mind are different right now, because the wall here is yellow and the wall over there is white, there is something which is shared. For example, when you say, hey, Magdi, my walls here are white, I understand you. And when I tell you, here is yellow, you understand me. So it's something we share. Those two separate small minds somehow share something. So that's one way of interpreting capital mind, as being that shared aspect of the small minds. Like when I tell you, oh, there are roses, in my garden, there are roses, you understand. And when you tell me, well, here there are daffodils, say, oh, daffodils, oh, that's really beautiful. There's yellow daffodils or white daffodils. And oh, they're yellow. So there is the shared mind. Another way of comprehending capital mind in the Buddhist tradition is that it refers to consciousness, to that which we are, to the reality of your small mind, the reality of my small mind, the reality of the daffodil, the reality of the rose, the reality of perceptions being one reality. And there's the old Zen teacher, Huang Po. He really, there's a small book which I encourage people who are interested in the Buddhist tradition to take a look at. It's called the Zen Teachings of Huang Po. Huang Po, Huang Po, P-O. He uses the term mind, capital mind, quite often in his discourses. And upon reading his talks, the book is a small book, and there were transcribed talks that he gave to his students. It's clear to me that he was using the term capital mind to refer to consciousness, to the one reality, to oneness, to wholeness, to totality. So that's my understanding of the word mind, and how I use the word mind. And I make a separation, a distinction, not a separation, distinction in my lingo when I use the term mind, meaning referring to perceptions, sensations, and thoughts, meaning the phenomenal aspect of our experience. I make a distinction between mind and ignorance. Ignorance is that aspect of the mind which is rooted in the belief that I am Magdi, that I am born, that I am phenomenal, that I exist in time and space, that I am a separate entity. That I refer to as the virus in the mind. And that virus not only exists in the belief, but it also exists in the feeling. Like I feel like I'm limited, that I'm stuck in the world, or I'm inside this room, or I'm sitting on the chair. That's the feeling aspect of the virus. That's how the virus is somatically experienced. And so I encourage us to notice that whenever the virus in the mind is activated, there is unhappiness. We experience unhappiness, or we experience a sense of lack or worry or fear, anxiety, depression. It's whenever the virus in the mind is activated. And whenever the virus is not activated, the mind is operating as it is designed to do, to help us manage the survival of the body and the procreation of the body-mind, sort of food, shelter, and clothing, practical affairs, socialization, whatever the body-mind needs to function. That's, of course, as part of the grand design of the body-mind, there is that inner built intelligence, heart beating, the nervous system operating, the senses, very important, perceiving perspective, not bouncing into walls. That aspect of the mind has nothing to do with the virus of ignorance, with the belief of being a separate consciousness, limited consciousness. Oh yeah.
So would you say that the mind is always outward towards phenomenon, and that's where the field of the mind plays, and when we quiet the mind, the truth or the reality is perceivable or perceived. In other words, mind is outward and.
Yes, I understand the question. No, because yes, there is that aspect of the outward direction of the mind, the functional senses, hearing and perceiving, but there's also the inward aspect of the mind, sort of the thinking, the creative thinking, the inner planning. So I wouldn't say, I wouldn't put it this way, Charles. I mean, there is also a practical and a joyful inner realm of mind, remembering, like sometimes remember something that's very important. And I somehow remember what I need to do tomorrow. It says as a remembrance. So no, the issue is not whether the mind is the practical mind, is directed towards the world, or whether it's directed towards inwardly to serve the body mind. What matters is whether it is serving the body mind or if it's serving the illusory me. It makes perfect sense for the mind to serve the body. Okay, you're hungry, or you need to plan, you need to remember something. It's trying to remember, okay, darn, where did I, or when did I? That's an important function. Where you put your keys with, where did I put my keys? And that's serving the body mind, because you need to remember where the keys of the car are, so you have a meeting in 1 hour and it's going to take you an hour to drive, so you need to find those keys. Where are they? as opposed to when the body mind is directed outwardly or inwardly, serving the me, worrying about me. Oh my God, is she gonna love me? Am I gonna be successful? Do people why are they treating me this way? Is the world treating me correctly? It's, so you need to pay attention to your body mind. Is it operating to serve and to maintain the illusory me being the separate personal consciousness, so-called personal separate consciousness? Or is it operating to serve the body mind in its intelligence of survival and procreation and taking care of food, shelter, and clothing? So when the mind is sort of saying, oh, well, I need to get ahead of him or her, this way I'll be, I want to be richer than them. Oh, they have a beautiful home. I want to get a better home, or I feel like, oh, gee, I'm less of a person or less worthy. All of these inner thoughts and activities that we may undertake to serve the virus, the me virus, are not to be pursued. When you notice them, hit the pause button. At any cost, hit the pause button. Have that courage of hitting the pause button, because you're proceeding in the deeper and deeper quicksand. You're proceeding in the wrong direction.
Since I've come here, it's been something I've been able to do, access. The very first satsang I had here brought this sense of peace and presence, as you put it. And there have been times when I've really felt passionate about something, and I've been able to sort of hit that button. And yeah, it's
Great.
It's valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's great, Charles. I'm glad. And in my experience, the less I feed the virus, is as if it dies by starvation. Some people don't like the word die, but it dries out by starvation. We don't need to try to be the love, because we are the love. We are the, but the virus takes us away from our true nature, our happiness, our inner happiness and freedom and joy and presence. That's good. Yeah, so I'm glad. That's good news. It's good news.
Truly is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.